Welcome to a new Scary Tuesday, TikTakers. Today, we'll be exploring one of our favorite horror movie sagas, The Conjuring. Just mentioning the name makes Tik and Tak shiver in fear, and we can't blame them. To be honest with you, even we were scared while writing this script. The cinematic world of The Conjuring is composed of different movies based on the world of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were real-life people. We actually made a video about them, so if you haven't watched it yet, we invite you to pause this video and go watch it. It is said that the Warrens hunted demons and ghosts and studied every case very thoroughly. Their legacy became more well-known, especially thanks to director James Wan, responsible for the first movie. The Conjuring films are about those paranormal cases studied by the Warrens, as well as other parallel stories where we learn the origins of different evil spirits. It is a bit complicated to follow all of the plot, and thus we'll be sharing with you what we think is the best order to watch the movies in. If you watch them in their release order, you'll see some parts taking place in the past, some in the future, and things can get a bit confusing. The first movie we recommend you watch is The Nun. In this movie, we learn what happened in a Romanian monastery in 1952. The movie shows the demon Valak adopting the shape of a nun. This is a terrifying being who will be important to the plot later on, so remember him. Valak is famous for being able to corrupt and take control of the church members to fulfill his objectives. The next movie in the list is Annabelle Creation. Here, we discover the origin of the evil doll Annabelle. We also made a video about her if you want to check it out. The prologue of this movie takes place in 1942, so some consider it the beginning of the saga. We can also find several references to Valak in this movie. However, most of the film takes place in 1955, which is why it is in second place on our list. At the start of the movie, we see how a married couple mourn the death of their daughter. They then accommodate in their house another one of their daughters, as well as 6 homeless girls, and they become the target of a doll possessed by a demon, Annabelle. This film has several time skips, and one of them shows how a young lady martyrs her adoptive parents after a doll takes control of her. Annabelle Creation ends in 1967, which is when the movie Annabelle takes place. A married couple who witness the murder of another couple by the hands of their adoptive daughter are about to have a baby. However, they make the grave mistake of keeping the terrible doll. And that's where everything starts. Scare, demonic messages. The movie ends with a mother buying the doll to give it to her daughter Debbie as a gift. It is precisely Debbie who takes us to the next movie in our list, The Conjuring. She's now a nursing student and lives in a shared apartment with a female friend. Then, strange things start happening in the apartment, and you can surely imagine who is the one responsible: Annabelle. So, looking for a solution, they call the most famous demon hunters in the country, the Warrens. The demon hunting couple decide to exorcise the doll and lock it in a special chamber. This was the first movie of the saga, even though it's not the first movie chronologically. This movie was based in a real-life case. The Warrens had to help a family who had moved to a house in ruins to start their lives from scratch with their daughters. However, strange incidents started to take place there, such as the clock always stopping at 3:07 at night, their dog getting killed and nobody understanding how or why, as well as many other things. In the end, it turns out that many people had been murdered in that house over many generations. To continue the chronological order, we need to go back to the cursed doll. The next movie in the list, Annabelle Comes Home, takes place in 1972 when the Warrens' nanny and a friend make the terrible mistake of releasing many of the cursed objects locked in the special chamber. Chaos ensues as the objects go after the Warrens' young daughter. As you may remember, TikTakers, the story of Annabelle is also based in real-life events. The next movie in our list takes place 1 year later in 1973 and is titled The Curse of La Llorona. As you may know, La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a famous legend in Mexico and Latin America. In the movie, a widowed social worker tries to help Patricia, an immigrant mother whose children are locked up and she doesn't know why. However, she soon discovers the reason why after bumping into La Llorona, who is now obsessed with her children. And lastly, we have The Enfield Poltergeist. This movie takes place in 1976 with one of the most known cases related to the real-life Warrens, the Amityville murders. The older son of a family shot dead 6 members of his own clan, and after leaving the house, the new tenants started noticing really strange occurrences, so they also decided to call the demon hunters. This film also has to do with the Enfield Poltergeist case, although in reality, the Warrens didn't study that case thoroughly. If you're not familiar with this case, it has to do with alleged poltergeist activities which occurred in the Enfield neighborhood in London. Once you watch all the previous movies, you will be up to date and will be able to better understand the most recent movie in the saga, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. This one takes place in 1980, and the Warrens will have to discover if a man accused of murder is actually being possessed or not. For some of the movies, the real-life Lorraine Warren had direct contact with the directors, which opens the possibility that some of the paranormal events the movies were about could be real. And we don't know about you TikTakers, but just thinking about that possibility makes us shiver. So we really prefer to think that this is all fiction. We really don't want to ever end up bumping into a real-life Valak. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!